All right, so this is what is it? December 31st, 2025, last day of the year. I did not trade much today, only a little bit in the morning, but I thought it would be um good idea to look at this gold um move that I was watching today, and I kind of traded a little bit, but the trade that I thought wasn't playing out. And basically it's because this on a higher time frame kind of reinforces those um, principles that I um, pay attention to, that I go by, and I think this is a good example here. So we had this huge capitulation day. I believe this was on Friday, and sorry, on Monday, and because it tanked along with silver, and what we see here, this is a 5 minutes, and we see obviously huge volume here at the bottom, and then we don't get like a V shape, and that's very important because if we had gotten a V shape bounce, it would be a different story. But we do get sort of like a retracement of high, and I was hoping yesterday or on Monday, whenever this happened, that this was going to retrace and test here a VWAP at the close from the day prior, and it didn't quite get there. So that's a first sign of weakness. If it didn't get there, that's typically a trade that you would see happen. But again, you would see it if we get like a V-shaped bounce here. We didn't really get a V-shaped bounce. We kind of like, it had this initial bounce here, but then it just stayed down there and consolidated. So that's probably why. So that doesn't check out. And then this doesn't check out because it doesn't make it up to that level. Obviously, if it doesn't make it here, it's not going to make a full recovery up to here. So this is a sign of weakness, and then it starts, come the open and everything, it starts like trending downwards again. Um, but the important thing that I want to point out here is again volume. So we're paying attention to volume. This was clearly a liquidation day, and this was true volume capitulation. And then we get this choppy uptrend that doesn't hold. It's kind of weak. It doesn't get up to this target, and then starts selling off again. And then this morning, which is what Luca pointed out, is that we had this like flush here, or we have strong volume capitulation here, and this does look like a V shape sort of, but this is not happening during the day, so it's different. This is overnight, but so I was thinking, okay, if it breaks this trend line, reclaims VWAP, we may get that retracement up here that we didn't get here. But the point that I think probably not. And what I want to point out here is that this volume capitulation kind of marks this level as very important because a ton of volume came in here, ton of volume that could be buying that bounce, because it's all about positioning here. Um, so if we have, huge positions buying this bounce and maybe buying up here and kind of like going for that retracement from the very early stages here, um, these are people that when this thing turns around, it starts making lower highs into that volume point of control, which is super important, right? So because we're not this volume here, we're not counting. Yes, we obviously take into account the lows, which is 4,300s, but all the volume traded here, that's why the volume profile is telling us around this area. So more like the 4,340, something like that. So why did this violent flush happen this morning? Because it came down into that VPOC here. It kind of bounced off of it and then back up, but then it didn't go far. It comes back down, breaks below. Again, this is the level, this is the key level where all the volume happened here. So breaks below, comes back, retests, and then it's clearly breaking below that level. And once it breaks below that level, all that volume that may that you know that that was buying the bounce here, and if they did not get out, and there's likelihood that a lot of that volume did not get out, they are capitulating here when that level ends up not holding. So let's go back to a 1 minute and and have a look at, you know, sort of, I wasn't there when it happened, but sort of how it may have looked. And again, so what's the level? The level is this level here. So 4,350, let's say what it is. So let's zoom in on a 1 minute, and it looks like we have a initial flush here on this 1 minute candle below, and that gets bought up. Look at the volume there. That's true volume capitulation. I'm not going to go to the 5 second because, well, I guess I can do that. Let's see how it looked at on the 5 second. So this is when it happened. And you can see how that volume was literally, it shows up in the 1 minute candle, but in the 1 minute chart, but even on the 5 second candle, on the 5 second chart, it's literally just one candle. So all that volume was compressed in one move that happened in less than 5 seconds. So that's how acute that was. So we get that literally, it's a dump, it's a flush that was looked like it was soaked up here and goes back up, but it couldn't go back and reclaim. Again, the original level that we're looking here to break below is the 4,340s, I guess. So here, so this is kind of like the bouncy ball setup that Lance keeps talking about when something is kind of like making lower highs into a level that needs to be broken. So here, bam, it flushes. And then here locally, it gives us that same sort of structure that we've been talking about after a breakdown or breakout happens. We get exhaustion. It comes, you know, in this case, it didn't stay low here. It did retrace a little bit, but it didn't, you know, it didn't continue up. And then it comes back into that area again, and then it takes out. It takes out the level where this exhaustion happens, and that gives way to capitulation. These are all stops. These are all people capitulating out, and that's why you see all these like huge volume candles. And then if we go back to the 1 minute, it looks, that's what it looks like. It looks like, you know, as a whole, it looks like exhaustion here. And then we get obviously, well, that bounce. It's capitulation, and then exhausted, and then we get the bounce. But again, it didn't bounce all the way up to this area. Did it? You know, it didn't reclaim VWAP until later. So, but that's kind of like the narrative, right? It kind of explains. So if you see something that's happening here, where you look left and you look like, where was the last time that there was true volume capitulation? Where did all that volume trade? Assisted by obviously the volume profile, because that kind of tells you where the volume was traded. But you want to kind of see the narrative of how it happened. I was not watching it. I was not, you know, but somebody out there that's trading on higher time frames probably, very likely, caught this little flush here, and they banked on it because um, because they were looking at things from a higher time frame, and they already knew, okay, we see the exhaustion here, we see the volume here, and we know that if this level is taken out, we will see capitulation here, and that's going to be our trade. Bam, and we see a momentum capitulation there. If you're looking at this from a higher time frame, that's a setup that you could have been prepared to trade, and it's very similar to the ones that we're prepared to trade when we're trading much um, lower time frames. But if you're paying attention to higher time frame, you can still apply a narrative and see how a move starts setting up before it happens. So this takes a couple of days to set up, but it set up very nicely. Bam. So this move was expected, it could have been anticipated, it was telegraphed, and I'm sure there are people that banked on this move. So I just wanted to point that as an example. Um, I traded, I made like 200 bucks, something that's like nothing today. I traded this little setup in oil, and it was basically this little this flat top here. I tried to scalp. I wanted to scalp this range here, and I didn't get myself to do it early enough. So then it was becoming kind of risky. But then I get I just waited for the breakout, quote unquote breakout, but this is all super slow and not real momentum. But we saw a little bit and of a pop outside here of this range. Finally, it happens here. We get a little bit of exhaustion here. That's not really, so this was pushing it. And you know, if I should adjust this. This is kind of like the move I captured here, and that's it. And that was all I traded today. And last note, because I'm going to tie this into yesterday, but I'm not going to go into a full review of all the trades yesterday or anything. But um, what did we trade? Oh, well, silver. So um, I captured that little breakout in silver. Um, just I was on a call with Luca, and then the breakout happened right after we got off the call. And where did that happen? Oh, it happened here. And I didn't size it the way I should have sized it. Um, and then I was up like 600 bucks or something like that. And then I immediately after, because we were on a call and I'm going to put the 5-second chart again, because we were on a call and we were talking about these things while we were on the call. I just saw it as a perfect example. So I just jumped and started recording a video right away. And I didn't stay locked in and focused, because I could have captured, perhaps could have captured, probably not this one, but then this little pop up or something, and I didn't. And I didn't size this correctly, so I didn't make the amount that I should have made. Um, and then what ends up happening? That I'm upset because I missed these moves, and then it's setting up here for another pop, and it pops, and this is like not even the third, it's like the fourth pop. This is already too risky. The odds are already gone, the edge is gone, the edge is only there on the first trap after exhaustion, and and that's it. And sometimes it gives you a sec on the third one, it's already too risky, even though it gave us a little bit more. So again, frustrated, upset, FOMO, I didn't make enough money, and then I go up here and I oversize like a madman here. It goes against me because it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I thought this was, again, I go from trading the tape and trading a specific setup that I'm very good at trading. Now I flip into I know this. I flip into a thesis and a bias, and I stop trading the tape, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go full size here because I know this thing is gonna keep going, and I was wrong. It didn't keep going. It just chopped around and then fucking came back. So I got stopped out, and I went from being up $600 to just blowing up again and losing $1,400 on the day. And this just goes to um, really quick, a quick thought. The reason why is it that we are creating this little group to trade together, to collaborate and whatnot. Everybody has different reasons. Everybody's at different stages or levels in their trading. I believe I am at a stage right now where at least I have edge, and the setups that um, I have a couple of a few setups in my playbook that I'm good enough at trading. But I do stupid shit like this. So it's about I have problems with discipline. I have problems with letting my emotions take over, that sort of thing. which is obviously the same type of issues that we all have. Others in the group, whether it's Luca or Alex, may have other sort of issues. Maybe you do have a couple of setups, or maybe you're not there yet. And then what you get out of trading in a pod is a little bit different. Um, but point is that at least from my perspective, this is the kind of stuff that I am hoping this trading with others will, that's where I get the value. It's like I need discipline, I need accountability, I need to stay focused and stay locked in and not let my crazy demons take over and let me do shit like this and ruin what was a perfect day, right? I wasn't up huge or anything, but I was on track. So this is the kind of stuff that, sets us back. So um again, I'm hoping you guys see the value of doing this thing the way I'm seeing it. I think it's worth it. And hopefully we can all get to a point where we can help each other not fall into these, like destructive patterns in our trading. And yeah, that's about it. So uh, I guess Happy New Year to everyone, and I'll see you guys. I guess next week I'll be trading on Friday because I think silver and gold might be in play. The first day of the year, typically, after a holiday, after Christmas, in this case, after New Year's, who knows? I'll just be there just in case. But I'll see you guys whenever you guys are back from doing what you're doing. All right.